Sivel Group, Real Estate and Ramblings, episode 18, 2024 by the numbers, everybody. Spring market insights and a look ahead to what to expect in 2025 this year. I can't even believe we're saying 2025, Michael. So, Michael, who is obviously donning his Eagles hat and had to do a whole production of it.
Getting ready.
Getting ready,
Jen.
I'm Jennifer Ranella.
And I'm Michael Sivel.
And Michael, would you like to not only, I guess, engross us with why we had to have a spectacle of the Eagles hat being put on, but also why the music that you chose today?
Well, I'm All Right, I thought is a good theme song. It's Caddyshack. It's a classic from Yacht Rock. Did you watch that documentary, Jen?
Of course I watched that documentary.
You were
I
probably
have Yacht
one
Rock
of the
on.
first people to watch it.
I was probably. I have it on my preview settings on my Sirius XFM.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm all Yacht Rock.
I was very impressed with how that genre started.
Yeah.
Did you guess that?
I did not guess that. And you did.
Let's not give it away, though.
I don't want to give it away too much, but you did quiz me before I watched it. And I was surprised. That would not have been the band that I would have guessed to have so many inroads in all things yacht rock and even how it started. But
I guess you'd call them the godfathers of yacht rock.
Pretty much. And it's not Kenny Loggins and it's not Michael McDonald, which just blew my mind.
He really didn't appreciate that either, did he?
I know, he did not.
That's pretty funny.
He's got, they're coming out with an album. Did you know that?
Oh,
His
wow.
album, and an outdated term, but he's coming out with a new album.
They're called albums. I mean, you could call them vinyl, but they're albums.
So Michael McDonald's coming out with new music with Kenny Loggins. Pretty sure.
I thought, no, wait. Is it with, I thought it was,
Oh, no, it's with, I'm sorry. Duh. It's not with Kenny Loggins. Although Kenny Loggins is on it, it's with, I shouldn't be talking about it, Doobie Brothers. Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
You really slipped up there.
I did. It wasn't Kenny Loggins, it's Doobie Brothers.
Which is
funny because I have, which is also going to date us, probably every Doobie Brothers CD ever. But
so
I should have known that.
I was like torn, Taking It to the Streets was going to be
that's the best.
My song for today.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, I'm all right. The Birds are in the playoffs. It's really cold. We're busy.
Spring's around the corner.
Crazy.
Spring market's around the corner.
So I was picking up Olivia last night at school. Carline, right?
Which Olivia's
my oldest. She's 9.
Yeah.
And did I get her? Yeah. So I got her first.
You got her first because she had art.
Right.
Yeah.
So I picked her up at 4:20, and she noticed that it was still light out.
Yeah, I noticed.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is her second week back?
Yeah.
Second week back, but right before Christmas break, I'd pick her up, it'd be like pitch black.
Right.
And so last night, my 9-year-old noticed that, hey,
it's
Dad,
getting a little brighter.
It's still light out.
That's exciting.
And I think we have 39 days until 7 p.m. sunset.
Nice. Very exciting.
I mean, that's kind of crazy to think about. But my 9-year-old caught it. Yeah. So we had a big talk about that.
Between that and the sunset last night was pretty awesome.
The sunsets every night
have been
recently
off the charts.
Have been redonkulous.
Yeah, totally. So, Michael, you want to give us a preview of today's upcoming episode?
All right. So a little quick preview of what's coming up in today's episode 18, Real Estate and Ramblings. Yeah, the Sivel Group. We're going to look back at TSG's 2024 production. I know we touched on it on our last podcast, but we didn't give any specifics. So I think we're going to...
We actually have the numbers now.
Well, we have.
And the numbers are doing the talking.
The numbers are in.
Yeah.
And the numbers that El Toro used for our little cool graphic.
Well, to be clear, you're talking about on Instagram. So for everybody out there.
The cool reel.
My mom and your mom. Were you talking about the Instagram that you guys both liked? The cool reel.
I think more than 2 people liked it.
I
know,
I'm just kidding.
Our friend El Toro. Put that cool little animated reel together before the new year, and the numbers for 2024 were a little off because the team kicked butt last week.
December, the last 2 weeks.
So anyway, we're going to go through those.
Yep. What else?
We're going to touch on our favorites, the 3 Ps.
prep photos and price, Michael.
You got it. And then we're going to...
And why it's now is the time, right?
Dude, now's the time.
Right.
And then we're going to talk about spring market trends, why it kicks off around Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hence my...
Traditionally, and moving forward, hence your Eagles hat that I have to nauseatingly look at all this time.
I mean...
So, Michael...
We could talk about your Giants.
Yeah, we're not. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for Saquon.
Anyway, Michael, you want to start out by talking about our TSG numbers for 2024 now that they're in?
Sure, Jen. I have no problem doing that.
I know you like numbers.
I've been home.
You're a numbers guy.
I am.
I know.
Numbers are important, especially with what we do. It's good to know what you've done that week, what you've done that month, what you've done that quarter, where you're going. Mm-hmm. Numbers are really important.
So our TSG numbers, Michael.
So the Sivel Group numbers are in for 2024, and the group sold $161 million in real estate. We did over 200 units, which I am pretty impressed with. I would like to give kudos to all of our members of our team.
Well, tell us a little about those numbers. So everybody was saying what a challenging year it was.
Oh, there's a lot of noise.
There was just a lot of noise. So tell us a little bit about what makes those numbers so special. Because yes, besides the fact that they're our highest yet, what else?
So it was a challenging year, and there was a lot of noise. There was the NAR settlement. There was high interest rates. We're still fighting lack of inventory in I think all categories. And so it was sluggish at times.
But what was special about
so
this
what
year?
was special for me reviewing
and for us
and
for the team, not just the Michael Sivel of the world that thinks he's like
super special. That is me. Well, we were up as a group 19% year over year. We did better than, I think last year was 15%, but we were up 19%. But when I dove into the numbers, what really struck me was the increase for our team members. And even with all that noise, the sluggishness, some other changes that we're going to talk about that we experienced in last year's market, some of our agents saw a 25% increase in their business, and some members of our team saw
even more.
Yeah. So I think what really gets me is helping not just our clients hit their goals in what was a challenging market, but helping our teammates continue to grow and prosper.
That's the most fun thing to watch. It's fun to watch them work together. It's fun to watch them.
Yeah.
How
Michael, about the changes in the office? I mean,
those
some
are
new
fun
seating, new seating arrangements.
We're doing a lot of new things for 2025, but we're still talking about 2024 into 2024.
Right.
So, Michael, besides our numbers, were there any other highlights or special, client success stories you wanted to talk about?
Well, Jen, I mean, I would love to talk about our client success stories, and we had a bunch last year, but I think it would be, one, it's going to be a 2-hour segment if we do that. There's so much to go through.
Yeah.
I'm just really proud of the work we did as a team. My most memorable moments, other than sales, was us doing stuff together as a team. Pickleball was fun.
Pickleball was especially fun for Christy and I, since we kicked your butt and kicked everybody else's butt until we hit Matt and Kat, and that made it to the final. So pickleball was especially fun for us. I mean,
Kat is like world-class racket player. I mean, no one on our team is beating Kat, regardless of who she's teamed up with. She's going to dominate.
So we're definitely doing pickleball again, and how could you not? But what else?
I mean, I think the biggest highlight for me is really our Toys for Tot bonfire. we've been doing this now. What was that? 5 years, 4 years? We did it before the pandemic, though, too.
I think it's 5 years total.
Just the traction, the people that we see annually now that
Being
know
here
where,
for the community,
that know where our
collecting
office
toys
is.
for the community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
People we've never met before, and now we know them, and we see them every year bringing toys. Is fun.
yeah, and this is the second year in a row. The U.S. Marine showed up with the government van and was like, "Ugh, I'm gonna have
He
to
had
come
to make
back
multiple trips.
because
Yep.
he's not thinking he's thinking 2 boxes,
Yeah.
and
I can't remember how there were like 8 boxes, I think.
yeah, we filled the whole back room again.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. And the bonfire we did bigger and better, and we're gonna keep doing it bigger and better.
Yeah,
and
we
this
had
year
our friends from 13th Street.
This year we had
Cocktails.
13th Street Cocktails, was so fun.
It was.
And we did pizzas, and we're gonna do that again, and who knows
Speaking
what
of
else.
13th Street Cocktails, how about his new pizza joint down in South Philly?
Yeah.
That dude is
He's
killing
kicking
it.
butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Yeah. Aaron's
Guys,
doing an
just-
awesome job. Shout out to Aaron.
Pretty sweet.
So, Michael,
Yes.
that's
Yes,
our
Jennifer.
2024, but you missed something huge, which I know
My
you're
dad
going to
died?
cause. No, Michael.
Oh.
We're talking about things that we enjoy doing with the team. It was Michael's 50th birthday celebration, which was also part of our holiday party. And for me, that was a really fun night at Jansen. I think that, of all the things that we did, pickleball was up there, but everybody getting Michael to be 50 when I was already 50 was so thrilling for me. So
good for
welcome to the club there, killer.
Yeah, so that my dad would have been 80 on December 4th, and I turned 50 on December 9th. And I was busting chops like El Toro the month or two leading up to this team holiday party at Jansen. I kept calling it, oh, come on, guys. It's really Michael's birthday extravaganza.
It was a holiday party.
And lo and behold, they did mix in some of my birthday stuff, which was kind of cool.
With your mom's help, which was fun.
Oh yeah, the photos.
It was so fun.
from my youth.
All right, so everybody, what you're really here listening for is our take on 2025, and it is, Michael, that time of year again to get ready for 2025, right?
Yeah, Jen, it is that time of year again. The Eagles are in the playoffs. Hence the lid.
Yeah.
Might even have a special tune to wrap up today.
Can't
Fly,
wait.
Eagles fly.
Okay, we're not
on the
gonna.
road
We're
to
not.
victory.
No. Civil, we need to
Fly,
stay. Okay.
Eagles fly. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Andy Kaplan, that's for you, buddy.
No, we're good.
All right.
That's good. We're talking real estate, not Eagles.
I won't ruin the vibe in the room talking about your team, although I have to look at that dusty helmet up there but thank you, Giants, for sleeping on Saquon, sending the best running back in the NFL down the turnpike here to Philadelphia. It's been quite a season to watch.
For me, the only highlight of the year has been watching Saquon do a great job, and it's been fun to watch him and breaking records. And yes, I don't know what those guys were thinking. They had their heads up their asses when they let him go, but we're not talking Giants.
Waste.
And we're not talking Eagles.
What a waste.
Michael,
imagine what he could have done in the proper organization out of the gate. What a waste. The poor
Real
guy.
estate time, 2025, spring market, not Eagle time.
It's always Eagles time.
All right, Michael.
Anywho, back to business. For us, the playoffs in real estate equal the 3 Ps, right, Jen?
The 3 Ps.
And you're going to talk about what those 3 Ps mean and why we're pumping them right now, this time of year, in our build up to arguably what's, Super Bowl kickoff of spring market.
Yeah. So what traditionally we've always said that our spring market starts around Super Bowl. But since the pandemic, our markets have been influenced by what was going on with the pandemic and the things that were happening with people moving around. And
it didn't stop.
It didn't stop. So really, I feel like we've had probably 3.5 to 4 years of what we're calling a pandemic market.
So we didn't see seasonality during that time. It started like
mid last year ish.
So our post-pandemic or pandemic market, like the second half of 2020, it started. And then 2021 through 2022, it rocked and rolled. We didn't see the traditional seasonal breaks in our selling season.
No.
It went.
And it was tough because we were used to such a traditional selling season, and it really kept us on our toes. I mean, there was a July and August, I believe it wasn't this, it was 2023, where we worked straight through bananas through the summer. But I think it was mid this year that we really started to feel like we were going back to a more traditional market.
We saw a traditional spring market.
Yeah, not one influenced by the pandemic as much, right?
Nope.
So now we're going into spring, what we think is going to be a traditional spring market.
Yep.
Super Bowl's around the corner, which is always our benchmark. And
kickoff of spring market.
But it also will depend a lot of times on temperature and the weather and things. But that's our baseline is Super Bowl. Now we do find, which is so pathetic, but we do find that when the Eagles keep winning, our spring market gets a little distracted till the actual Super Bowl.
I mean, there are a couple sellers who we haven't.
Just wait. Well, everybody's distracted.
Well, there's one in particular, and I know he's super busy. He's a great guy, but he's just tied up right now.
Yeah,
and
we're beating
tailgate
him over the head.
And Eagles. It's almost like I can't even bother him. Like, hey, when we get that listing up.
No, he's distracted. He's one of many that are very distracted. So now is the time for the prep, which is the most important of the 3 Ps.
Yep.
Michael, the 3 Ps, just to remind everybody,
prep, are photos, and price.
And they're all equally important.
Yep.
So now is the time to be prepping.
Now's the time to be prepping. You want those photos to look good. And you want to be talking to us about what a strategic price is all about.
Yeah, but so first we need to prep the houses. We need to make sure everybody talks about depersonalizing and decluttering, and we're not going to get too much into it here, but we don't really believe in depersonalizing because we feel like, conveying a home that's a warm home that has, had a family in it or had happy times in it and memories. I don't think we need to depersonalize those houses, right? No. Decluttering, I think, is a better word. Brightening it up and walking around with our little honey-do list is sometimes painting and doing a few things to prepare those houses. So when we talk the 3 Ps, the prep P, I think, is the absolute most important. And I think the more sellers that buy into the P prep reap the benefits. Well, and sometimes it means monetarily, and sometimes it just means sweat equity and work. But the more you prepare,
the prep comes out in the photos.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the prep and the photos may lead to a greater price.
Right.
Could it?
It can.
So, I'm not going to dive into clear cooperation and
no, we did that the last podcast.
I know, but I could talk about it every podcast because they're changing. They're even now changing the playbook again on the argument for that. But anyway, price is equally important as the prep and the photos.
Yeah, strategically pricing, but to just
so you don't want to price it too high?
No, you don't want to price it too high, but
aspirational pricing. You don't want to test your aspirational pricing, Jen?
No.
And get feedback that you were priced too high? You don't want to do that?
No.
What do you want to do?
I want to try. Now it's a little bit different because we've been in such a seller's market and we've seen such low inventory, right? So when we're going out there and comparing houses and trying to come up with a number, sometimes it's a little more difficult because you don't have as many sales to use as what we call comps. And when we say comps, it's comparable home sales, right? So when you take a house, we look at comparable home sales. Most appraisals will go back 6 to 8 months. So we try and go back 6 to 8 months when we're analyzing a house. And luckily, we've been in a lot of these houses, so it's easy to compare them. Too. Yes.
Hey now.
Okay, Michael.
Hey now.
Sold a lot of them too. But anyway, to compare them, you go back really 6 to 8 months like any appraiser would, and that's difficult in the seller's market where we have a lower inventory. So we've seen ourselves going back a year or two and then adjusting to try and come up with that number. And although, it's not an exact science, right? You try and be as strategic as possible. You don't want to put a number out there that, as you say, is an aspirational number or a number where someone thinks they should have gotten if they were in a competition and just throw it out there and see what sticks, because that momentum, when you come on the market, is key, right?
Totally. So pricing's important.
Yeah, you're setting an expectation. Walking in the front door, you put a big number on there, then all you're going to do is fall short.
Knowing the data. knowing the market.
Yeah, and what sellers don't realize is you set an expectation. So you always want to exceed consumers' expectations when they cross the threshold into your home. You don't want to fall short of expectations.
Totally.
And that's really important. And so if you misprice and fall short of expectations, that's when you find yourself sitting on the market, getting stale on the market, and then what, Michael? Chasing the market right past the number where we probably suggested it should have gone on in the first place.
Yeah, because when you're trying to, catch up on the time you spent on the market, you got to do it in chunks. It's not just small increments that you're trying to catch up with.
No, if you're catching up and chasing the market, you've got to really come down to where you're trying to then recreate the momentum you first had. And the only way you're going to do that is $100,000 price reduction, not a $10,000 price reduction. Now, it obviously depends on I'm exaggerating, but it depends on the cost. It depends on the price of the house.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about your 2-minute drill there, Jen?
You skipped right over the 2-minute drill, Michael.
I did?
You did.
Well, I just threw it at you.
You did throw it at me. So there are times, and this is where Michael's
staying in football land here.
Not just staying in football land, but jumping all over the place here. But what you're referring to is, yes, we take the time to prep the house and price the house, but there are sellers that want to just get on the market and get it sold, right? And so our 2-minute drill is getting it ready, getting it up, and getting it sold very quickly. And we actually, during this time of year, before the Super Bowl, especially, I have to say the caveat is especially when the Eagles aren't still in it, but it just depends.
I don't know. We're going to see.
We have one we're doing now. But so what we're getting at is because there's such low inventory and it's a quieter time, we have found traditionally sometimes putting a house up now, priced well, but putting a house up now when there's nobody else out there, some sellers reap the benefits of that very quickly because they don't have any competition, right?
Yeah, we've done really well with that.
Yeah. So the competition, there is no competition. So these houses sell and sell well because, and I'm quoting a Michael Sivel term here, because they're the belle of the ball, because they're the only one out there. And at times there are buyers so concerned with the fact that there may not be other houses that are going to be up there and as options for them that they jump on the first ones on. And sometimes we benefit from that by being the very first on early on. And that's what Michael Sivel means by the 2-minute drill, right?
Nailed it, Jennifer. Nailed it.
I passed your test.
I mean, you passed my test back in 2015 when we merged.
Yeah. So,
we've done $1 billion in sales since.
Yeah, we have.
We're building a great team. We've got a nice management company. We have a development company. We're doing stuff in South Carolina with one of our best clients. We're doing stuff in Durango, Colorado with another favorite client. We're going to be doing stuff in Chestnut Hill. I mean, what else do you want to do? You don't have much time to play golf, do you?
I don't. My golf game has suffered. But anyway, to get Michael Sivel back on the topic.
Womp womp.
Since he always likes to kind of be all over the place. But to get you back on topic, right?
What's that?
So to recap.
What are we doing?
You're going to talk about what you think for the upcoming spring market with seasonality, what to expect.
I think we're going to start
Not to go. Just for us. I think there are consumers out there, buyers and sellers, that want a little bit of our advice as to how to handle the upcoming spring market.
Well, I mean, we're going to see the seasonality return to the market, which I feel like we experienced last year at the end of spring market. Second week in June, got a little quiet. We did some more deals towards the end of August, but the fall was really robust. We had some of our best sales in October and November.
Mm-hmm. And I think that came from a little bit of pent-up demand, not knowing what supply is going to do, not knowing what a change in leadership in the country is going to do. I think there's some people that jumped on that before there was a level of uncertainty.
Well, and I think people got sick of waiting for rates to come down.
Yeah. Which that is a surprise to both of us as well. We thought, really, right, that they would be down more than they are at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is I think our clients work around it. Some of them are still cash. It doesn't matter. They'll get a mortgage later. So
But
I think we're going to see that seasonality return, right?
Right.
So I think those that are prepping and preparing, talking to us about pricing, and getting their schedule together to really strike when the market is hot are going to do really, really well.
And I think that as much as buyers have been tired of sitting on the sidelines, I think there are some sellers that are tired of sitting on the sidelines. And we heard a lot last year and the years before, probably the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, how tired are we on hearing, I can't sell, I don't know where I'm going to go. So I think we've
now
heard...
they're calling us up and they're like, I'm
Screw
not
it.
staying here anymore.
Yeah, well, that's my point is I think not only did we see in the fall buyers being tired of sitting on the sidelines, right? So I think we're going to start to see sellers that are tired of sitting on the sidelines, and they're just going to sell.
Yeah.
And they're going to figure it out once they sell, because they're going to get concerned of, where are rates going to go? What is happening with inflation or not? And I'm just ready to move.
We have a few.
And that's what's always happened, though, traditionally, is people were ready to move and they didn't hyper-analyze the timing.
Yep.
They just sold their homes when they were ready. And I think that there's a little bit of seller exhaustion out there of waiting. And so I think some of those sellers are going to come off the sidelines as well, which will hopefully help with our inventory issue.
So if our phones are any indication, January 3rd hit, and we've been extremely busy since.
Right.
And not just with sellers, but also with buyers. I mean, we're getting interviewed by buyers, right?
Yep.
Which
is a little different. We've done that a couple times, but we're doing it
don't
more
mind
the
it.
past 2 or 3 years than ever before.
I don't mind it. I think it's kind of
fun.
But it's also kind of like a two-way street.
I was just going to say we're interviewing them as
Yeah.
well.
So,
yeah.
There's only so many hours in the day.
Right.
You want to be not wasting them as much as you can.
Right. And being very efficient.
Doing podcasts. I mean,
meeting people like Justin and doing some fun stuff on Instagram.
I mean,
if you guys haven't checked it out, we keep referring to Justin, but Justin El Toro, check him out on Instagram. Really cool artist in Philadelphia, animator, and now our go-to guru for all things creative. So you got to check him out.
He's the man. So thanks.
Thanks,
No Name Gallery, for the intro. To our
Poor
guy,
Justin is stuck with us now.
Never gonna get rid of us.
So everybody, just to complete the thought, this is the time to get ready, right? We're gonna prep. Price and photos are very, very important, and getting your homes ready, doing the little honey-do lists and prepping while the Eagles are playing and it's cold outside, right? Then use that time to empty a closet a day. Use that time to paint what needs to be painted and to get those homes ready, because prep is just as important as pricing and photos. And in conclusion, everybody, here comes Michael Sivel and his music, which he's going to put up higher because he's got to do a little Eagles shout out. Do you want to? I don't usually give you a chance to explain your conclusion music, but would you like to give a shout out for your conclusion music? You got 2 seconds,
This
dude.
goes out to Gilly DeKing, who, by the way, ran out with the team last weekend. Dude, I was freaking out like a little kid. So Amin and I send his clips on Instagram back and forth. And what's funny is his neighbor, the first time, came out with this broom, and I thought it was going to be like neighbor giving this guy hell for doing his little skit in his driveway after an Eagles win. They're boys. He had the broom guy down at the game last weekend too.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, it's awesome.
That's funny.
So cool.
So I gave Michael his couple seconds on his conclusion music and the Eagles, as much as I'm here yawning over here.
Now everybody's doing his dance skit. So everybody,
thanks for spending this time with us. Stay tuned as we have some fun guests coming up. And as promised, we're going to give you guys an episode a month. I'm sorry for that. And
Go Birds.
I'm sorry for exposing you to Michael Sivel, especially during the Eagles season. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more ramblings from the Sivel Group.